Yeah. Oh, shoot. I'm streaming my Streamlabs. Oops. Okay. Oh, shoot. What is happening? Oh, there we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Now I'm live for realsies. Yeah. Ah. But yeah, if you need any other like reference stuff, I don't have like a lot of art of me, but I can like privately send you files of my model because that's like the only art that I feel like is the clearest. Everything else is kind of just rough.
I think what you sent me should be good.
Okay.
Yeah, it has like your full body and everything.
Yeah. But yeah, how long have you considered or how long have you been doing like digital art? Because I know you said that you were doing traditional stuff earlier. So did you start out with
Digital art. It's been a long time. I started out traditional, but I got into digital art fairly early because I got like just a basic Wacom so long ago that the model that I use is actually discontinued.
Shoot,
But
that's me and my
yeah, and
first tablet.
yeah, it lasted a long time. It only broke last year,
Oh
and that
dang.
was after like what 12, 13 years of using
Dang.
it. Yeah, it'd be 13 years of using it.
I
And so that's when I finally got like an iPad and stuff. And I plan on getting a Hazel. I plan on getting a desktop, like a screen drawing tablet, just because there's some limitations that I have with Procreate and everything.
makes sense. Yeah, my tablets are unfortunate. They seem to break like every 2 years, which is not great on my my wallet. I mean, I only get like I get pretty cheap tablets, so like it's fair. And the first two I got were used, but like still, I wasn't super happy about it because man, I love those tablets to death. I feel very attached to them. My first one was like the original like Intuos like pen and touch one. And then my second one was like the original bamboo, or not the original bamboo, but like one of the older bamboo models. Man, I miss them because the one that I have now doesn't have an eraser on the back, so I'm like constantly going back and forth because I'm
I've never had an eraser on the back.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it was
not
all
used to
hotkeys.
having I'm not used to using hotkeys that much, so like I'm forcing myself to like get used to them because I literally don't have any other choice.
Also, hey Taylor and hey Biako. But yeah, it's just like my first tablet was the Wacom Splash, and that's the one that they have a Wacom Splash, but it's not the same
Yeah.
tablet. It has it's more expensive, but it's worse.
Oh my
Like
god, that's literally how I feel about my new Intuos. It's more expensive, but it is just worse than my old one. Oh my
like
god.
they charged you more, but they gave you less, and then marketed it as the same tablet. And I'm like, that's a completely different tablet.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, hi, Lucky. Okay.
Wait, hold on. Is my stream picking up desktop audio? Hold on. me start on this. I need to decide on a pose. That's like what I've been trying to do. I'm like looking. I'm like, I really should have planned out a pose beforehand.
Same here. I started on something and I'm like, I don't know if I'm vibing with it. It's kind of static. Maybe I'll do something a bit more dynamic at the cost of me not getting very far into the sketch. But oh well, I'm planning on working on this after the stream anyway. So
Yeah, I was like, it's probably gonna. Cause I want to make it look nice.
yeah. I don't know. When it comes to art for myself, I'm like, whatever. But if it's art for other people, I'm like, I have to make this look perfect.
Pretty much. It's like I always spend like 2 seconds on drawings of myself, and then everyone else, I'm like, no, I have to spend all day. Make sure it's absolutely perfect. I'm still having audio issues.
Weird. Is it Streamlabs or is it?
I think it's coming through. It's just, I think I need to turn it up. Yeah, I think it was just too low. There we go. Now it's showing up.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like are you like doing art for like a career? Oh wait, you said you were STEM, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm just doing art for fun. My siblings all did a lot of art stuff when they were younger, and I just kind of like picked it up. But it's not something I super want to pursue. But the people, it's just I don't really have the diligence, I think, for it. I admire like artists who like go into like the art industry and everything like that. I feel like people hear like, oh, someone's going to the art industry, they like must be lazy or something like that. All they want to do is draw, and then they completely like not. They completely not understand how like much hard work goes into it, and how much like frustration must go into like having something as personal as your art be put into like an academic setting. Like I don't. Yeah. Like when it comes to STEM, I feel pretty disconnected.
I cried during critiques.
Yeah, that's exactly why I couldn't. My mom will sometimes like critique my artwork unprompted, and I'm like, wow, I'm kind of. I asked her to stop doing it because it kind of hurt my feelings. So I'm like, man, I'm just doing this as a hobby. Like, I just want to show you something I'm proud of. But then she said, like, oh, like, you'll never make it as a professional artist. And I just looked at her, I'm like, I'm not trying to become one. Please just be nice. That was kind of sad, but, like, I thought it was kind of funny that she said that. Like, yeah, I wouldn't make it as a professional artist. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, I was like, it took a lot of convincing to get my family okay with it. So now I'm just like, I am bound to this. I cannot go back.
Yeah.
There is no other option.
Yeah, I'm very lucky in that I wanted to be like a STEM major. So like I feel like society gives STEM majors like a lot more credibility in general, but I don't know. It's a job that is supposedly like a lucrative thing or whatever. I'm just glad my interests were in it, but you know,
yeah,
it's kind of sad because people assume as a STEM major that I also don't care like about the arts. I'm like, wow, bold of you to assume that. I love them, obviously. I don't know. Going to a very STEM focused school is kind of. There are a lot of obnoxious people in it.
No, there's definitely very pretentious people in art majors, and I'm just like, you know, the ones that are just like, well, I have this, that, or the other, kind of thing, or like my art's like it's very competitive, And so a lot of people get very greater than you kind of personalities.
I could imagine. I feel like
Yeah.
happens already a lot in academia, and then having it at like art school just makes it worse.
Yeah, because the competition's so high. Like, you can't even become the major without having like a portfolio review and whatever. And so it's like, you can pay all this money and go to school, but then if they're like, I don't like your portfolio, it doesn't matter.
Oh my god, that's
You still can't get your degree.
I'm not I didn't go to this school, but there's a school in my state that's like really it's very also very STEM focused. It's like the most famous school in my state. And like people come to it like internationally. Although I guess you could say that about most schools. But its STEM program is so competitive, like it's kind of ridiculous. I know people who you can get admitted to the school, but then you have to apply for your program after like a year and a half to 2 years. And I had people who failed getting into their program twice, and they thought, why waste another year here? I'm just going to transfer to another school, because if you got a single B, you weren't getting into the program. It was just that competitive. I could not. My mom tried convincing me to go there, but I was like, no, I'll just go to the school, like a private school with a really small population, so I don't have to compete with anyone.
Yeah, it's like it's the same thing for like the art majors. It's you have to apply once you like you can get your like associates and everything basically, and then after that you have to apply. And I actually failed the first time I applied from the program. Yeah, and I was like at that point, because I spent so much time and effort and everything, and they sent me one sentence on how to improve, and I was like, I can't. That doesn't help me. And I didn't get into the program by 0.03 of a point.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and I honestly, at that point, I was like, I considered dropping out. But I ended up making it in the second time. Yeah, I was really sad. It was dark days that time. But yeah, I eventually I reapplied and they accepted it. And so I'm in the program now, and I was just like, if I didn't make it in this semester, there was a possibility that I would have had to transfer schools entirely if I wanted to still do my career as like an art major. And I was just like, if I have to transfer schools, I'm just not going to go anymore. I was like, I'm tired.
That's fair. Well, I'm glad you got in then.
Yeah.
I cannot figure out a pose that I want. I was like, oh, I'll start drawing, I'll start sketching before the stream so I can like figure out a pose, and here I am like, I don't like any of these. Why is this so difficult? This is always the hardest part, is figuring out the initial composition. Then everything else just kind of feels like busy work.
Yeah, I'm like trying to nail down the like everything. I was like, I have a pose that I'm like kind of happy with. It's just figuring out the everything else about it.
Sorry if my handwriting on the reference is like super messy, by the way. Oh my god,
oh no, you're good. You're looking at the reference. I really need to draw a new reference because my art ability has had a serious jump since when I drew that. I drew that reference photo like months ago. Like, oh gosh, like basically when I first started streaming, I drew that. Actually, before I started streaming, so like I don't even know when. I was like back in August was when I drew that, and my art has completely changed since then.
I need to redo my reference because like I really wanted to do something clean, but I thought like, oh, I have other things I need to do today. Like I should really like just get this out so like you guys aren't lost when trying to draw me. But yeah, eventually I'll redraw it so I can like actually post it on my Twitter and it's not gonna be a complete mess.
Yeah, it's like that one was just so that I can get the commission done, essentially. Because that was from the same file where I was testing out designs on. So it's very just like messy and still like the planning stages. And I was like, I'm gonna go back and fix that, and I never went back and fixed it.
Oh, that's me. That's me. I'll get back to it, and looks at all of my unfinished works in progress. Like, yeah, I'll get back to it.
Yeah. I have art that I started in like 2010 and was like, yeah, I'll finish that.
That's me.
A decade later, I'm still...
Yeah, I'll come across like half-finished sketches, and I'm like, well, this is clearly not great, because this was from 5 years ago, but, like, I do want to finish it. It's a good idea, so might as well just completely redraw it, and then that never gets done, because I find some shiny new idea. And it's just cyclical.
Yeah, I'm always like... Yeah, it feels like that. The amount of drawings that I have where I just drew everything else, because I used to just not want to draw the faces, and so I would draw everything else, and then I would like fully render everything, and the face was just empty. It would just be like a white sheet of paper, and then everything else is fully colored in.
Oh my god. Hair needs to be longer. Your art looks so nice already. Whoa, you were saying something about messy sketches? What are you talking about? Yeah. I had to start color coding.
I've erased a lot of it already.
I mean, fair. I had to start like color coding all of my sketches because I legitimately couldn't tell what anything was. I'm like, well, it's just kind of a mess, and I'll figure it out later.
Yeah. I also have like a reference pull up. Oh yeah, I didn't do the face yet, so it's just a smiley face, and that's normally what I put in. I'm just like, there will be something there, but we won't worry about that right now.
I mean, that's fair. That's
but
fair. I'll usually
yeah,
like,
it's like
put
this
down...
one's less messy because I have a reference pulled up. Oh, you're good, you're good. Yeah, this one's a little bit less messy because I have a reference pulled up, but if I don't have a reference, it gets real bad. But what were you saying?
You know what? I already forgot. My memory is not great.
You're fine. My memory's really bad. Anyone will tell you.
Okay. You know what? Speaking, I should maybe pull up a reference. That would probably be smart. Okay, let me pull my red folder. I feel like I'm gonna end this stream and it's just gonna be like, here's a face and nothing else. Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to find a good hand reference. I've drawn myself into. Thank you for telling me that I have a memory of a rock, Taylor. I appreciate that. But I've drawn myself into a corner by forcing myself to have to draw a hand.
Oh. That's me. Yeah, usually I can never find good references for hands, so I'll just take a picture of my own hand. Because it's, instead of like going through like a database like, well this is not quite the right pose, or like this isn't quite the right angle, just magic.
Yeah.
Just have all your own poses. Fourth sketch is the charm, right? I'll get it this time.
I always feel bad when I draw because I zoom in and out so much.
Yeah, I feel bad. I don't feel too bad about it on stream, but when I'm doing like a speed paint or something, I'm like, oh, this is like assault on the eyes.
Yeah, just like, ooh, I'm sorry if this is making you nauseous. It's making me nauseous too, but
Sometimes we gotta do the things we need to do.
this hand is significantly way too big. This always happens for me, is I always either draw it like too big or it's too tiny. I'm just like, I just have to readjust it.
I mean, that's the beauty of digital art, is that we just can. I do that a lot in traditional art, though, and it's tragic, because I'm like, oh, where's my transform tool, please?
I found, especially when I used to draw on my computer more, I found sometimes that when I would do traditional art, is I would move my hands, like my fingers, to do like control undo.
Oh,
and I would like be like, what? I was like, there's not even a keyboard here. What am I trying to click?
It's just the muscle memory. You're like, I don't like how this looks. Time to undo it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really need to practice traditional art more. I'm like losing my ability to. I used to like watercolor and things like that.
Same.
But now
I was like, I haven't done it.
Yeah. Looks at all my oil paints that are just unused.
I have like a box of like acrylics that were like, it was like $200 something, and it just sits there.
That's me.
And I'm like, yeah, I'll paint again, eventually, maybe. Yeah, and I guess I actually recently bought a new watercolor set.
Ooh.
Because I have like 2 paints, but I find that I won't use them because it's like there's so much prep into it.
Yeah, like you have to like a day or two in advance, like take them out. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's like I bought myself just a pan set because that I can just leave on my desk with like a water brush and I'll use it because it's there and easy to use or whatever. And if I ever want to do like a really important piece, then I would go and do the get out my like more expensive watercolors. But yeah, I miss doing traditional art. I just haven't. I don't know. It takes so much more time than digital because you have to set up for it. You have to like prepare yourself for it.
Yeah. It really does take so much time. I'm still thinking about how to graduate high school, I needed to take an art class, and I thought like, ooh, I'll learn a medium I never have before, because I hadn't taken an art class before, so like I'll try oil painting, but that was also because the watercolor class was on a completely different campus, so I couldn't. So I was like, okay, I'll try oil painting. Man, every time I did an oil painting, I kept thinking like, God, I could do this exact same thing in maybe 4 hours, like if I did this digitally, but because I'm doing it traditionally, it's taking literally 2 weeks because I gotta wait for everything to dry.
Yeah, I love the way that oil paints look, but I don't have the patience.
Same.
Like even with watercolors, I have a heat gun.
Oh my God, really?
To speed up the process. Yeah, which saves me a lot when I have classes where I have like an assignment due that night, and I'd be like like drying my canvases.
Oh my god. Honestly, that's
to
pretty
try
smart.
and like get them done.
Yeah, no. Oils took forever. My favorite two like paints to use were I can't remember the shade. Was it phthalo blue? I think it was phthalo blue and burnt umber. Burnt umber takes a single day to dry, while phthalo blue literally takes a whole week to dry. So trying to like mix them and blend them was a nightmare. Ugh.
Yeah, phthalo blue is my favorite. I have both the blue and the green variant of it.
Mm.
And it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite paints to use, both in watercolor and in acrylic. I just love that color. And it's really transparent, so you can get some really cool layering effects done with it.
Yeah.
And I just love using it so much.
Yeah, it's such a nice color. I'm just a big sucker for blues in general, which is really funny considering all of my theming is yellow, and then on my like other, like on my personal accounts, all my theming is purple, but blue. Blue is where it's at.
Yeah, it's just like I like all colors, but blue, purple, and pink are my favorites. I use, and it shows up in my art a lot as those three colors.
Same here.
I use those on almost. It doesn't even matter the color palette that I'm using for my drawing. Those will always like somehow find a way to show up in there.
Oh, I'm the same way, to be honest. I was doing like a few years ago. I was doing like my art like based on like color, where I would do like a tweet or something, or not really a tweet. I was planning originally to do like a tweet per color, but as I was going through my art, I realized I had like 5 million pieces that were colored blue, a bunch of pieces that were colored purple, a bunch of pieces that colored pink, and then like green, orange, yellow. Don't know where.
Yeah, I think green is like the color I use the least.
Yeah.
I think I hardly ever touch it. I don't know. It doesn't show up much.
Yeah, I feel like I should do maybe. I mean, this is far away, but maybe I'll do like Huevember or something like that, where I try doing like a piece that's a color a day, so I can force myself to do things that aren't the colors I normally use. Because I feel like my color palettes are generally pretty the same every time. Like I always have like the certain purple I like highlighting with, or like the same reds that I use for shadows. But I don't really branch out in colors that much.
Yeah, same. I have like, because I have pre-made palettes that I use, and I pretty much like use the same ones over and over again. And so it's like, I mean, some of these here are for like specific characters, but I basically use like one default one, and then I have all these other palettes I downloaded and never touch. Because I was like, oh, maybe I'll like try out some palettes like other people have made. No, I won't.
Man, I should see if there's like a palette preset in CSP, because I just wing it every time and I always find myself using the exact same colors.
Yeah, and I never realize it when I'm doing it, but then afterwards I'll like zoom out and look at my other art pieces and I'm like, wait. Here we are again.
Yeah. Maybe I can bring the hair up so it's like a little bit more dynamic. It's like, ooh, the hair is I don't know, doing some space thing.
I'm still struggling on how to draw a face. I'm like, I haven't even figured that part out yet.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't either. I just kind of have like a vague doodle of where a face should be. I really
I'm still
just
here
do
with my smiley face.
I just do it to figure out where, like, perspective-wise, like, oh, where are the facial features? But I usually end up redrawing the whole thing by the time I actually get to the face.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh, that's so pretty.
No. Ah.
They've gotten so far.
I know. I'm like, how do you work so fast?
I always feel like I'm super slow. Oh, hey, Zero. Oh, did you... Like, thanks for the subs. Thank you for the sub, Taylor. Oh gosh, why did I struggle to say that? Yeah, I saw your drawing, Zero. It looks really nice. Oh, thank you for the follow, Zero.
Hello,
It's
Zero.
so pretty. I need it. Yeah, I already saved it to my my folder. My folder of art.
This is, like, it's not even art for me, but I'm definitely gonna be like staring at this for like the next 80 years.
So Taylor, it's because you know my alerts don't always work, Taylor. I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, but my alerts just sometimes it's a 50-50 shot of whether my alert goes off or not.
Oof. Yeah, I hope you can figure it out.
Yeah, I'm thinking about just resetting all my scenes because I think that's the problem. I think I messed up somewhere along the line when I set them up, and so now it's just.
I'm gonna change this post for my reference because I do not know what this link is doing. Oh, hi, Zero. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, I hope I'm not absolutely butchering you. I'm trying, but I had to like restart the sketch several times because I just wasn't happy with it. But yeah, so it's still kind of rough right now. I'm glad you like it, Zero. Okay. I think I'll make this so a full body instead of just awkwardly cutting it off at the knees. No, don't feel lazy. You got your art was so cool.
Yeah, it came out really good.
Yeah. Also, I just like being extra, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I just wanted to make things difficult for myself, so.
We wouldn't be artists otherwise. Okay. No, that looks weird. Wait, I'll just let me do something. I'll put up the art onto the stream instead of having a little reference preview.
I'm so sorry I'm not talking much. I'm like focusing really hard.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm like the same way. I this is why I can't stream for super long. I'll get like hyper focused on whatever I'm or not hyper focused, but I'll get really focused on whatever I'm working on. And then I'm just like, oh wait, yeah, I'm streaming. I should say something. So I am the same way. Okay. I think I can start on the next sketch now.
Yeah, I'm like working on like sketching in actually you and not just a vague body.
It's time to fix this face. Oh my gosh. Not this. Not that large of a brush. Hi, Soapy. Thank you. Really trying to use this new brush, but heck it, it's turnip pen time. Return to the classics.
Yeah, I'm like, despite having all new brushes, I still oftentimes just go back and use my defaults.
Yeah, they're good for defaults.
Yeah, I was like, if you're comfortable, honestly, you can make any brush work for you.
Yeah. Sucker for Jing sketch brushes. Ooh, I haven't heard of those. I mean, I haven't done a lot of brush stuff. I haven't done a lot of brush searching, but I might look.
Yeah, those are actually the ones that I use. The Jing sketch. Those are the ones I have. I use the but I use the free ones, like the default free ones that are provided.
I know very little about brushes. I have like three. I think I said I had like 3 brushes that aren't the default ones. One of them was my own. One of them is like an effects brush, and the other one was this like really grainy looking one that I like using for sketches. But to be honest, like if I want to do line art, I should probably use something cleaner.
Yeah, I'm bad. I can do line art, but I don't like doing line art. And so my line art just ends up being like a more refined sketch. And then I just draw on
Same.
top of it.
Honestly, same. I call things line art, but they're really messy. But to be fair, some people have like messy line art, so I feel like mine counts, even if it's just like I just cleaned up the sketch. I was really good at doing line art for a really long time. I learned digital painting specifically because I had no idea how to do line art, and now I'm like, now I have enough like familiarity with like cleaning up sketches that I feel like I can do something that resembles line art. So for the sake of my commission pages, I just call it line art.
Yeah, I was just like, I mean, it gets the job of line art done, and I think that's good enough.
Yeah. I don't even know why I'm trying to like make this kind of clean and line it. Because I am definitely gonna paint over this. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make it all clean. And I'm like, well, that was kind of no use. I mean, painting is easier
Yeah,
when like I know
do
where
that.
things are, but like it's for the most part like there's really no need to go like so in detail when you're just gonna like paint over all the details anyway.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, almost forgot the cat mouth.
Oh yeah, I meant to ask. Your outfit design reminds me a lot of like Lolita fashion. Are you into that?
Kind
Or
of.
is it just like the
I just like magical girl sort of aesthetics, so I took a lot of
Mhm.
the what's the word, the silhouette for magical girl stuff. Hence the magical Gaia being my username.
Yeah, I was like, I love magical girls. In a sense, I mean, technically, I was like, I count myself as a magical girl. Like, I transform, and like, it's fine. I was like, because I couldn't decide when I was going to decide if I wanted to go full magical girl or if I wanted to like do the bunny theme or like what. And
Best of both worlds,
I
me
don't know.
both.
I kind of found a middle ground. I am a magical stuffed animal, and I turn into a girl, and it's you know.
Aw. Meanwhile, there's me who turns into a giant bee, which I really want to make a model where it's just like me as like a cutesy bee at some point, but like I have to
Yeah,
I have to finish my like actual model first.
that would be really cute. I really love like non-human models. Like I just like the way they look, and I
Yeah,
think it's like so fun and unique to the person.
yeah. I saw there was I don't know who it was, but someone was doing like a snake model, and I thought like, oh, this is so cool, because like their head moves, like their whole body moves around and like slithers as they move their head. It was just very well rigged, and I wish people like saw how much like live 2D could do, because you don't just have to be like cutesy anime character. Although I no, there's nothing wrong with being a cutesy anime character.
Yeah, that's like one of the things I love about like VTubing and everything is you could literally be anything you want.
Yes.
There's not really much of a limitation. Like it's if you can get it to like if you can get a model to rig, or if you just want to be like a PNG tuber, you can be literally anything.
Yes. It's so much fun. It's so freeing to like express yourselves in ways that are beyond your physical body. Yeah. I especially love it. I feel like VTubing is such a great place for like trans streamers because they don't have to like worry about their like appearance or anything like that. You're literally anything.
Yeah, it's great. I because I know for a fact I would never have streamed had it not been for this. Because I am not comfortable in front of like a camera or anything like that. So it's like, if it wasn't for having a model to represent me, which like I could have streamed without a model or like whatever. I don't know. I just didn't want to.
Yeah, it's kind of fun when you like get a take on like a certain like appearance or personality. Plus, like having a face will usually like help connect the viewer to like its audience. Oh yeah, Zero. I just I retweeted the model giveaway thing. I currently don't need a model, but like I definitely know that there are a lot of people who do. So I hope it goes to a good home. Flip canvas time. Do I hate this? Okay, I don't.
I haven't even like thought about flipping the canvas. I should probably.
Don't get too far without flipping the canvas. Don't be me and make those mistakes.
Sometimes I forget until I'm done with the drawing and I'm like, well, it's too late now.
Yeah. God, I wish there was a way to flip the canvas like in real life. I'm thinking about how many drawings I tried drawing someone facing to the right, and it looked so wrong.
I've had teachers who would have me yeah, it's a good thing I flipped canvas. It's doing a mean lean. But I've had teachers who would have us like put our drawings up to a mirror so that we can see it like the other way. And another thing that helps too is turning the drawing upside down traditionally.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not a sidekick. I am the main character. I'm not a mascot. But yeah, it's like flipping the canvas upside down helps a lot because it rewires it, like makes your brain not see it as it was before.
Yeah.
So it helps you notice more things.
I had a teacher in like middle school who oftentimes whenever we had an assignment where it's like we had to recreate like a classic piece of art because I think it was like an art history thing or an art appreciation thing. And because we're middle schoolers, part of it is like, oh, well, now you have to draw it for a grade. And the advice that she gave everyone who like didn't feel comfortable with drawing is like, you just gotta flip it upside down and like it'll help you see the shapes and proportions a lot better rather than just like this is like what it's, your brain won't try to register like necessarily what it's supposed to be. It's just you'll be able to like see it as it is. And I'm like, that's so smart. But I couldn't do it. My brain was already too wired trying to like recreate the actual image.
Yeah. Sometimes it helps to not be like analytical.
Yeah.
And to just like accept things like just look at it as like an object and not what it is.
Uneven about these eyes. Like I can tell they're uneven, but how do I fix this?
That's like the big question is, I know this is wrong, but how do I make it not wrong?
This is what people spend like so many years of their lives studying. Oh, you're right. Okay. wait, I forgot. I can rotate the canvas. Literally none of my other drawing programs I can rotate the canvas, but oh my god, I could have. I didn't have to be drawing at this weird angle.
Yeah, my canvas is currently sideways. I always rotate it constantly throughout the drawing. And so sometimes when I turn it right side up, I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you're also using an iPad, so you can like physically rotate the screen as well.
Yeah.
Catch me basically redrawing this whole eye because I'm noticing too many problems with it. Oh, you use an iPad 2.0. Nice, nice. Alas, I'm a broke college student. I just use the cheapest tablet I could find that I could get quickly.
Yeah, it's like I just like had like enough money left over last year, like extra money to buy one. Because I had like worked a ton of, because I'm an essential worker, and so I had worked nonstop, and so I was like, oh, I actually have money for once, and I was like, what's the thing I need? And I was like, I probably need a better way to draw other than my tablet that's falling apart.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't have a tablet for like a few months, and it was like right when like all the pandemic tensions were like kind of going up, that I was like, we're probably gonna be quarantined for a long time, so I might as well just get myself a tablet like right before the pandemic hits, because like I need to be able to do something. And that was a great decision, but I kind of regret buying mine so hastily because it's not a tablet I'm necessarily the biggest fan of.
Yeah, before I had an iPad, I bought a Huion tablet. I don't even know what kind it is. It was just like I think it was like just like the cheapest one. And I mean, I use it occasionally, like when I'm fixing up work on my computer. But I do most of my work on the iPad initially.
Ideally one day I'd like to get an iPad to use, mostly because trying to lug, well, I guess it's less of a problem now because I don't have like one of those giant bamboo tablets, but before, trying to like lug my tablet and laptop around were obnoxious. But I got a smaller laptop and I got a smaller tablet, so it's less bad, but not great. But like pulling out an iPad, like my sister has one, and I'm so jealous.
Yeah, so it's really convenient, like in not having to like carry around a sketchbook and like a ton of pencils and erasers and sharpeners and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I could just pull this out and doodle real quick and then put it back away, and it's no problem.
I like doing digital note-taking on occasion as well, but like trying to bring a laptop and tablet into the school in pre-COVID times, I don't know, it was kind of like a little obnoxious. So I tried taking them on my phone. It just isn't the same. There's like not enough like surface area, and it doesn't have the same sort of sensitivity as like using an iPad.
Yeah, I used to take notes on my phone for a while as well, and then now I just do all my notes on my iPad, and it's nice. It's really, because it's like, instead of having to flip through a ton of books when I'm studying, it's all like together in the same document. It's really convenient.
Yeah.
Or with like the sketch? I
Ah, it
don't know.
looks so good.
Thank you.
Ah.
I'm like struggling.
Aren't we all?
Oh, thank you, Taylor.
I have to keep reminding myself to save. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, that's like the best thing about Procreate and autosaves. I never remember, and I've done it in the past where I've spent like 12 plus hours drawing a thing without saving a single time, and then lost all of that because my old computer used to crash randomly. And so you would think knowing the fact that my computer could crash at any given moment would make me go, oh, I should save constantly, but no, I never did.
That's me. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here's CSP does like autosave. I don't know if I noticed it doing it, but which is nice. But GIMP doesn't, and my computer used to crash all the time. Not to mention, GIMP will just randomly corrupt your files from time to time. And it's so not fun to like finish a drawing and you're like 8 hours into it and you're like, oh wait. Sometimes I'm in the middle of saving, and it's because there's so much stuff that it hadn't saved before that it has to like save it again, like save it for the first time, and it's too much for it to handle and it'll just crash. Goodbye, work.
Yeah, that would happen to me. It's like I'd be saving and then the window would gray out. And once that happened, it's just like, all right, I just have to wait in anxiety to see if it'll decide to be kind and actually save, or if it'll just close.
Same. I usually try to like grab a screenshot before it like crashes or anything, just so I get like I remember what it looked like before, so I can try recreating it. But oh my god,
Yeah,
it's always the nightmare. Those like minute where it decides whether or not it wants to ruin your day.
yeah, and I swear it's never on art pieces where I'm like, I don't really care. It's always on the ones where I'm just like, all right, this is super important to me, and I really want to finish it and everything, and then it just stops working.
Oh no. Okay, let's look at this.
Here's the part where I just draw the same line like 20 times before I'm like, yeah, I like it.
Oh, that's me. I feel like that's a universal artist experience, is like, okay, undo. We'll get it right this time.
Yeah, and I feel like the line I settle on is always the exact same as the first line I drew.
Oh, it's like, oh, this could be better, and then you spent like a bunch of, like, you spend a few minutes trying to just recreate the first thing you did.
I feel that. Sometimes I'm like, I finish a piece and I'm just like, yeah, I'm not happy with that. But if I draw this anymore, I'm gonna like never finish.
Oh, that's fair. And sometimes I just never finish anyway. I don't know. I'm trying to be more happy with just like, sometimes things just don't get done, but like, it's fine. Not everything has to be a finished piece. But I mean, for this, I'm definitely gonna try to do a finished piece.
I've been trying to ingrain in myself in the mantra of it's okay to make bad art.
Yes.
Because like it is, like, and I know it is. However, when I make bad art, I'm just like, no, bad, you ruined it or whatever. But I'm just like, no, it's okay. You need to make bad art. That's how you get better.
Yeah, also, especially with how like online spaces work and social media, we see other people like only posting good art, and then we forget like, oh, they have a lot of bad art that they did too. They just didn't post it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I have so much unposted art because I'm like, nah, it shouldn't see the light of day, but I'm trying to get more comfortable with it.
That's fair. I mean, there's nothing wrong with not posting art. I have a lot of art that I just have that are like projects that I'm just working on for myself. Like, no, they don't need anyone else's validation. I can just live with it being either just enjoying it for myself, or like, oh, it's mediocre, but like no one needs to know. Because it's not for anyone except for myself, so I don't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah, that's also I've been in the mode of like, if I'm not making art for school or I'm not making art for stream, then I'm not being productive.
Yeah.
And so it's like art kind of became a chore for a little bit, but I'm trying to break out of that because I'm just like, no, it's okay to make art just because you want to draw and just for yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be like for an end goal.
All these lines are messy, but it's okay. This is gonna get all painted away anyway. Oh shoot, I never finished the hair. No one saw that.
No, there have been times where I've gone all the way to the point where I posted an art piece and I look at it and I'm like, wait. I missed an entire thing.
Sometimes you're just too blinded by like how good everything else is, and you're like, wait a minute, there's no eyebrows.
You know what, speaking of, I just realized I didn't draw your glasses. Speaking of forgetting things.
It's fine. I take them off sometimes. For my model, I do have a little, like, not shortcut, but like a little hotkey that's in like my sort of document is labeled unmagnify, where it's just like no glasses.
Yeah, I considered giving, because I wear glasses, and I considered giving my model glasses, but then I realized how much I didn't want to draw glasses every time I wanted to draw myself. So I just
okay.
Here's the
thing. So you see my little reactive spray. I have the glasses there, and then if you also go check the reference sheet, the glasses are the exact same. And if you go look at my model, they're also the exact same. So like, I have only drawn like these glasses maybe 2 times. Like in total. I don't like drawing them either.
Yeah, also I know I have a terrible memory, so I know that I would definitely forget to include them, and I'd be like, oh, well.
Yeah, that's fair. I have an excuse, because these are just supposed to be sunglasses, so, like, it's fine if I don't have them on. They're just a fashion choice. Man, I should really do fabric studies. I have like no idea if these folds are correct.
Yeah, I should do more studies in general, but
Same. I'm like, I just want to draw things that I want to draw.
yeah. I've been trying to force myself to do them, but then I immediately get distracted. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Same.
I know I should, but I do not desire it.
I sit down trying to do hand studies, and I'm like, nope, no, thank you. I'll draw a hand, and then it becomes attached to like a character, and then I spend way too much time like rendering the character. And I was like, wait, this is supposed to be a hand study. Oops.
Yeah. I'm like, I find though that like if I draw like an OC or something, I'm more likely to like actually finish the drawing. If I draw like an OC or like fan art or basically anything that's just not the study.
Yeah.
It's like I have to trick my brain into like learning.
I mean, hey, whatever it takes. That's how I like legitimately studied for school though. Is that I would draw characters like in my notes. I'd be like, oh hey, it's that one boy you like from, I don't know, Haikyuu or something. He's telling you the notes. And I'd have it like in a little speech bubble. Like,
that's really cute. Yeah, like during class all the time, a lot of my notes will have like a little doodle of my teacher or something there. Like I think I've drawn almost every single one of my teachers at least one time in my notes. Because like, I don't know, I get distracted really easily, and so I try to focus in on something. And I'm like, it's still related to class, and so I'll remember drawing him during that drawing the teacher during that lesson, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was drawing them when they were talking about this kind of thing.
yeah, I kind of am the same way. I'm like, I've seen people describe it as like a sketch noter, where when you take notes, like you have to draw or something, because that's what helps me keep my focus a lot. Like if I'm not like optimally like engaged with the material, I have to have something else that I'm doing. So if it's just like if I'm just sitting and listening and like the note taking isn't fast enough, then I'll have to occupy my hands with something, or else I'm just gonna like zone out. And like completely miss everything.
Yeah, I was like, I have to like give myself dedicated distractions in order for me to like pay attention, because like otherwise I'm just gonna sit there and I'll look like I'm listening, but I'm not absorbing any of it. Like I am looking at the screen, but none of it has entered my brain, not a single time.
That's me honestly.
Especially with like lessons online, like that's like, it's so hard for me to concentrate with like online lessons. I'm just like, oh
yeah, my brain wants me doing literally anything else. Like,
yeah.
Thankfully, I currently, this is gonna change in like the next couple of weeks, but currently I'm only in 2 classes, but 2 more are getting added on. And only one of them requires note taking, but I cannot bring myself to focus because the audio visuals, like, something about it is wrong, and the professor nor the AV people can figure it out. So like I'm literally having to look at like a laptop pointed at at like a projector, and it's not great. So my brain is just like, I don't want to be paying attention to this. Like, you can barely hear anything that's happening, and I'm like so easily distracted when I'm in my room. So it's not great, but thankfully it's only one class I have to deal with it for. The other class is like my senior project, so we like never meet for class. It's only like team meetings, thankfully.
Yeah, it's like I one time had a teacher, and it was it was so hard to focus during that class because first of all it was math and I don't like math, and so it's hard for me to get myself to focus during math class because I don't like it.
Hey, but, I like math, but even I'm the same way. You're so valid.
Yeah, and it didn't help. He had I've never heard someone with a more like deadpan monochrome voice in my life.
Yeah.
And like it was to the point, hey Gabby, it was to the point where it was just like it turned into white noise. And that was like a physical class that I had, and I was sitting in his class and I was like, I know he's speaking to me, but I'm not hearing it. Like I'm like I can see your mouth moving and I can hear the sound coming from it, but nothing's getting through here.
Yeah. Oh man, I have a professor who's the exact same way. He speaks in this very soft voice, and then it's very monotonous, and he doesn't really like do. He doesn't. I'm trying to imitate him, but like nothing can really describe the experience of sitting in one of his classes. And his classes were always directly after lunch, which is nap time for me. And so I always try sitting in the front row to stop myself from falling asleep. But oh man, that did not help. There are so many times where I'm not kidding. I do sit right in the front row, right in front of the professor's desk, and I will fall asleep right in front of them.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I had a class last semester and I sat directly, like, as in most of the lecture during that class, my teacher was making eye contact with me because I sat directly in front of the seat. But I'd always, because it was the last class of the day, and I was already, like, exhausted by that time. And so, like, I would always end up falling asleep. And I felt so bad. He never said anything and he never took points off. I think because he could tell that I was trying to fight. I would try so hard. Like I would literally be doing that thing where my head would drop and I would snap it back up.
Oh my god. That happened to me once. Like, it happened to me, like, I mean, that specifically happened to me once, a lot, but one time in community college, I was sitting, not even kidding, like, 4 feet from the professor. He was directly in front of me, and I almost fell out of my chair with that when I like snapped myself awake. And it was a 3-hour class too. Yeah, because we only had it twice a week, so it's like, okay, well we have to do this for 3 hours because you have to also do lab. And because it's like a lab area, we were sitting at like counters, and like all of the counters were like really high, so we had to sit on really high stools, or it was really high to me as someone who is a short person, but yeah, almost falling out of a chair where you're like 2 to 3 feet off the ground. It felt like not great.
Yeah, I always felt bad too, because a lot of times, like, you know, because of COVID and everything, there are a lot of times where it would be like, I'm the only one physically in the classroom. And then I fall asleep and I'm like, there's no way he doesn't notice.
Oh my god.
I'm the only one there.
Oh my god.
And I sit in front of him.
Oh, that must be so awkward.
Yeah, because I would like wake up halfway through the lecture and I'd be like, oh no.
Yeah. Here's one thing that might help. I don't know. This is something that my friends and I will do sometimes. We will physically go to school, but we will sit in an abandoned classroom without the professor, like, so not in their classroom. So we could feel like we're doing like school and feel like that we're I don't know, feel like we're like actually going to class. I mean, we're gonna go to class online, but like not have the pressure of the professor like staring down at you. Yeah. It's always awkward though, like, when they like walk to the other building or like walk past the classroom and they see all of their students just like in a different classroom without them.
Yeah, I always felt like I was just like, because it was like I had to walk by because I do half and half classes, so some of them are online, and it's like I would have to walk by like one of my classes on my way home, and so it'd be like, oh hi, I will be with you in like a couple minutes online, but for now I'm just passing through.
Yeah, I would go to class more often physically if it weren't just so annoying to get to. Because I don't drive. I have to like I either have to bug my parents or I have to take the bus. Which if I take the bus, it takes 2 hours. Otherwise, it takes half an hour to get there. And I'm just like, I don't really want to go all the way to class for only like 2 classes, one of which is an online meeting. So I'm just gonna, I'll just stay at home.
Yeah. I was like, I drive like an hour or so to go to like 2 classes. I can't. And I'm like, my gas, but also it's like I learn better that way.
Yeah.
And at least I only do it like once a week, but I was like, I learn better that way. And that's like my biggest like thing. I'm just like, it's so hard for me because I don't know. Whenever I take online classes, it's like I'll pass, but I won't remember any of the stuff that I learned in that class. I just don't retain it.
Yeah, I only really do that with classes that are mostly writing based. So like English or I wanted to do religious studies, but I had to take that in person. But yeah, all the classes that relate to like mostly like the humanities and it like aren't super technical and you don't have to like memorize things. It's mostly essay writing. I'll do online, but like in terms of note taking, I have to be there in person.
Yeah. And it's like because pre-COVID, like the only classes I would take online were classes where it was like I didn't really care if I remembered it afterwards. You know?
Yeah.
So like I've kind of run out of those, and so all of my classes I'm like I need to know these for my job in the future.
Yeah. Done with the sketch so that I can put down the flats and port it over to my other program.
Yeah, I'm going and doing my quote unquote line art, which is it's just slightly neater than like the sketch. It's not line art by the standards of anyone who like actually professionally does line art.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I just don't have the patience for line art.
I feel that. I feel like whenever I try doing line art, it kind of turns out how I'm doing it right now. Where like you zoom in on the face and you're like, oh, that looks kind of clean. Like it could be cleaned up more, but it's kind of clean. And then you zoom out and you're like, what is going on down here? What is this hand? It's also not in perspective. I don't know.
Yeah, I also find like when I do like line art, somehow my art gets like way more stiff.
Yeah.
And so I don't really like doing it.
Same. I feel like with sketches, you're like more the looseness of them allows a lot more things to just be left implied as opposed to like refining it down to like the exact detail. You gotta lose a lot of the expressiveness. At least with me, that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, I get that a lot. I'm just like, it's too nitpicky. I don't know if that's the word I want to use for it, but it's like you put too much detail in areas that maybe don't need as much.
Yeah.
Or whatever, kind of like overthinking it compared to like with the sketch.
gonna switch.
I haven't even moved on to colors yet. I just finished getting like the base slide for done, sort of, because I still have to.
To be fair, I feel like I have a lot of like design details on me, so. Gonna switch my stream to the break for a second while I set up my next.
Okay. Okay.
I think GIMP refusing to open is it's telling me a sign I have to learn how to use CSP.
Yeah, I wanted to try Clip Studio, but I don't know. I don't know. I might once I can actually afford to buy like a tablet for my computer, I might
Yeah, because Clip Studio on like a tablet is like a subscription for some reason. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm. I'm like trying to color match your palette from like eyesight. I think I have it pretty close. Yeah, we are drawing each other. It's actually yeah, all three of us are drawing each other. I'll post I'll yeah, I was like I'll share the one that Zero drew with me towards the end. I'll show it. But yeah, we're drawing each other. I probably should have started out with that. I was about yeah, it's my model's acting a bit weird because I rearranged my desk, and so everything's at like a different position now. Oh yeah, my pencil's been dying this entire stream. There's been multiple moments during the stream where I've just switched over to drawing with my finger.
Oh no. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I always forget to like charge the pencil, and so this happens a lot.
I guess that's the one thing I'm grateful for like using a traditional tablet is I don't have to charge anything. I can just like it's just like pick up and go, plug it in. That's it.
Yeah.
I feel like every time I have like a normally lit drawing, like halfway through I'm like, but what if it were backlit? What if I had some like dramatic light source going on? Yeah. I tell this to people all the time. I'm like allergic to doing like normal lighting. I tried doing like a daytime piece once for like a zine I was in, and I don't know, never again. I just want to do like things in the moonlight or like neon colors or whatever. I can't do things if they're just like, well, here's a plain here's a plain lighting.
See, I have the opposite problem where I always have the same lighting over and over again. I'm like, I really should mix it up. But then I start drawing and I'm like, I start out, I'm just like, yeah, I'm gonna draw this kind of scene, but somehow it morphs back into my default.
Oh. I mean, I feel like I do the same lighting a lot. It's just very dramatic, and that's it.
Oh, sorry, Ariel. Let me check. Listen, I'm trying to reach out, but I got really focused.
overall person to like now I'm doing like a scene in a background. Oops.
Okay. You're good. You're good.
Oh man, it's almost 9. I haven't eaten dinner yet. Oh.
It's like almost midnight for me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm down to keep going if you want to, but like if you want to rest, like we can end the stream.
I'm like at the point where I'm almost finished, so I don't want to like stop.
Okay, we can keep going. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll be finished soon though.
I feel like I'm the one who's taking. I'm like so slow. I spent like a half an hour detour on just like, ooh, I'm gonna do a background. Yeah, hopefully I can get mine out within like the next day or two.
Thank you for the follow, Your Only Watcher. Appreciate it.
again, Lucky.
Alright. I am done.
Oh, dang. I still have so much to do.
It looks really good though. You're doing like a full illustration.
Oh my god. And you are? Like, that. Yours looks so good too. Thank you. Ah!
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna stare at this forever.
Yeah, I'll send it to you in a little bit.
Okay.
Alright.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to end stream now.
Yeah. Thanks for joining me for my first collab. I really appreciate it. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was really nice. It was a lot of fun, and you're like super cool.
Yeah, you too. But yeah, if you're ever down to collab again, I'm free.
Yeah, I'd definitely be like willing to collab again.
Yeah.
It was really fun. Alright. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good night.
Night. Bye.
Bye.